Ace Mago, a former Secretary-General of the African National Congress and perhaps the most divisive South African politician over the last few decades, was arrested today in an alleged cold case corruption investigation that is being characterized as high-profile by officials. The arrest early this morning immediately inspired shockwaves across politics and caused heated debate among citizens. For months, Magashule has been haunted by claims of embezzlement, bid rigging, and abuse of public funds. Now, those simmering charges have boiled over into a shocking turn of events that few thought would ever come to pass. The arrest of one of the ANC's most influential men. Outside police stations and the court building, people rushed to wait for the action. Some were applauded for the move, thanking the police for finally acting. Others had shouted in rage, accusing the arrest as a political witch hunt by enemies within the ANC. Divergence of responses highlighted an underlying reality. This was not merely an archival development. It was a national story, one which touched all corners of South African society and reopened sores regarding corruption, accountability, and the future of the governing party. Within the ANC, the backlash was immediate and disorganized. Senior leaders were said to have been taken aback by the timing of the arrest. Gossip of dismay and panic ran through Latuli House as party tacticians rushed to contain the optics and navigate the political maelstrom. The ANC, already tottering under the weight of corruption allegations for years and toxic intra-party battles, now found itself in a full-blown crisis with the potential to rip its very fabric apart. Some camps embraced the arrest, terming it as a cleansing measure that could rebuild credibility. Others, especially Magashule's faction, seethed with fury, labeling it a politically driven attack meant to clip their wings. This internal divide has further deepened the long-existing divide between President Cyril Ramaphosa's allies and the radical economic transformation group that is loyal to Magashule and ousted President Jacob Zuma. Emergency sessions were said to have been convened as Ramaphosa's allies called for calm while supporters of Magashule readied themselves for mobilizing resistance. Analysts have termed the arrest as a political earthquake that would break what little unity exists within the ANC, with genuine doubts raised about its capacity to effectively govern in the next few months. As rumors ran high, President Cyril Ramaphosa ended his silence with a measured speech to the nation. His words were measured but firm. He dubbed the arrest a step in the continuing struggle against corruption and reiterated that no one, including high-ranking political leaders, is above the law. Ramaphosa reiterated transparency, accountability, and the need to regain the trust of the public in government institutions. His statement marked one of the most significant interventions of his presidency in recent months and seemed designed to reassure a weary public while signaling to his rivals that he would not back down. Observers noted that Ramaphosa's tone was deliberately balanced. On one hand, he sought to project strength and a firm commitment to the rule of law. On the other hand, he steered away from aggravating tensions within the ANC by not openly gloating over Magashule's ouster. Political commentators say this tightrope balancing is indicative of the precarious position Ramaphosa is in now, between the hopes of an angry electorate and entrenched power of competing factions within his own party. For others, his speech reaffirmed that South Africa enters a new era of political responsibility, an era where leadership needs to act boldly to preserve legitimacy and authority. The timing of the arrest couldn't be more important. With the country on the brink of national elections, the ANC is presented with an unprecedented challenge of unity and credibility. The opposition parties have for years hammered the ruling party on the issue of failing to handle corruption within its ranks. With Magashule now in custody, those attacks become more renewed. Political commentators are cautioning that the scandal may redefine leadership battles within the ANC, inspire the opposition, and dramatically change voter perceptions. The arrest, in brief, has the ability to shift the political seascape in ways that will be felt long after the case is heard in court. The opposition parties did not beat about the bush. The Democratic Alliance, Economic Freedom Fighters, and Action SA released statements within hours calling for even more protracted investigations into ANC corruption. They contended that the arrest of Magashule was merely the tip of the iceberg, one instance in an ocean of corruption spanning decades. For them, the case has become a potent symbol of institutional failure, evidence that the governing party cannot be relied upon to police itself and that South Africa requires fresh leadership to liberate itself from the stranglehold of corruption. For Magashule himself, the road ahead in court will be long. Reports indicate that the charges involve corruption, fraud, and abuse of authority, all of which come with the possibility of long prison sentences if convicted. Legal analysts forecast that the trial may last months, if not years, grabbing headlines and influencing the political conversation every step of the way. The case has the potential to establish significant precedents, redefining political immunity borders in South Africa and influencing public perceptions of how top officials can and should be held accountable. The judiciary is also in the limelight now. All court appearances will be picked apart in real time by citizens, journalists, and political analysts. South Africa's courts will be not only determining Magashule's innocence or guilt, but also the integrity of the justice system itself. If the trial is considered to be fair, transparent, and unbiased, it might restore trust in the rule of law. If not, it has the potential to further damage public trust in already weak institutions. For regular South Africans, Magashule's arrest is an instant of vindication as well as one of uncertainty. Most have long assumed that the nation's leaders acted with impunity, protected from accountability by their political power. The image of a former ANC strongman in handcuffs is for some proof that they can be changed. But for others, the arrest foretells instability, violence between factions, and political retaliation that threatens to spread into everyday life. The country in large measure finds itself at a crossroads hanging between hope for rejuvenation and fear of further polarization. The arrest of Ace Magashule is not simply a news headline. It is a seismic occurrence with repercussions that reach far beyond the legal issues of one man. It is a wake-up call for the ANC, a warning to South Africa's ruling class, and perhaps the opening page of a new chapter in the nation's democracy. Whether it results in actual reform or continued chaos is dependent on the reaction of the government, the courts, and the political class over the next few weeks and months. For the moment, one thing is clear. This tale is not yet finished. All that happens in the courtroom and all the politics will be seen very closely.